Hello and welcome to another episode of the Man from Hildebrand. Um, there hasn't been really much to report in the world of Bond as such regarding news since last time. Um, Now probably well the dust is probably settled now, but a few weeks ago it was quite hilarious because um, MI6 HQ had reported on social media that Amazon had uh, digitally removed and photoshopped guns from the James Bond artwork. Now, this. So basically, probably a couple of months ago when I watched 007 Road to a Million, I noticed on Amazon Prime they had all the Bond films, and they were sported by sort of new artwork which featured the Bond actor against a coloured background. And me being me, I went through all the films to just have a look at the artwork, and I actually really like the artwork. To me, there's nothing odd about it at all. I really liked it. I thought, okay, that's different. I'd kind of really like the sort of the colour contrast. Um, and then anyway, it was only a couple of weeks ago um, that you know since MI6 HQ had reported it, it became the topic of Bond. All the groups and social media went bonkers, and fans were losing the shit because what they had done was removed the guns, which at the time was something I never noticed. And I kind of pointed out, thinking, you know what, if MI6 HQ had never reported this, nobody would have been none the wiser. But the only, I mean, yes, there was probably the two images, which were Doctor No and Goldeneye, which was probably the most obvious, where clearly a gun had been photoshopped out or airbrushed out. So it kind of made that pose of Connery and Brosnan sort of seemed a little bit dodgy. But at the time, I didn't even notice. The other ones, they probably, like, the photo was cropped so you couldn't actually see any weapons. But there was a few where Roger Moore seemed to have had a different head on his body, which doesn't, that's happened for years when it comes in terms of home entertainment covers, VHS releases, they've always tinkered about. So that hasn't been the problem. But I think the most noticeable of the Roger Moore ones was A View to a Kill, where his arms were kind of extended. So he had really long arms. Again, I mean, none of this I even noticed, and it wasn't until MI6 reported it. I thought, yeah, okay, I kind of noticed it. But in typical fandom fashion, the fans were like losing the shit about it, and they was kind of, being very concerned in how they would be promoting Bond 26. He's like, well, hang on, why digitally remove weapons from Bond where, him having a Walther PPK, that's part of the image. And I kind of, thought about it differently. Now, my take on it would have been that maybe all these streaming platforms, Amazon, Netflix, Disney, whatever, probably their policy is to have sort of images of, to advertise their films, but they weren't allowed to have any weapons or anything offensive on there. Because, obviously children, people of young age will probably go onto these and they'll flick through it. Yeah. And then it's not until you probably click onto that film, you probably need age verification or permission from your parents. So say if an 8-year-old does want to watch a Bond film, that's then down to the parents to allow them to. So I kind of get it. It is probably just a standard thing now that you've got to just, remove weapons and just make it not look violent or offensive. But obviously, how Amazon went about it, it caused a bit of an uproar, and caused enough uproar that a few days later they went and changed the images again, and actually reverted to images that had been used before. So it was basically like a still of Bond from the film without a weapon, and that seemed to have been accepted better. So I'm now thinking, was it the lack of weapon which was a problem, or was it the fact that it had been badly photoshopped, badly AI'd, which was the issue? Which kind of begs me to, I mean, in terms of Photoshop and AI, what Amazon did was nothing, nowhere near as bad as what we got back in 2008 for the Ultimate Collection on home media. So back in 2008, they released all the Bond films once again, part of the Gold Band series. So it was a wide background with a Bond actor, and they had a gold band across the top, which had the title. I mean, yeah, these were really, really poorly photoshopped and was absolutely diabolical and atrocious. Sean Connery, seemed to have been sporting hair from Virgil Tracy, and then also adopted blue eyes as well. I mean, since when has Connery ever had blue eyes? He hasn't. George Lazenby did not look nothing like George Lazenby. Roger Moore, he wasn't too bad on some. Timothy Dalton, Living Daylights, is what the fuck was going off with his mouth, So, in terms of what Amazon did, they, in my opinion, and I will defend them, that their take on the covers using AI and Photoshop was nothing as bad as what we got 17 years ago, back in 2008, and also in 2012 for the 50th anniversary, the covers were a little bit dodgy then. But yeah, so obviously everybody was losing the shit about it. So that was quite funny. So that for a while become the talk of Bond fandom. It was all over social media. People were expressing their opinions, and I kept, emphasising, saying, look, what Amazon have done isn't as bad as what we got back in 2008. It's that was appalling. That was atrocious. So yes, but also what people don't also remember is that 2002, the release of Die Another Day, there was some products which was aimed at a younger age, and they had the 007 logo, but the actual gun on the end of the 7 was removed. If you look at the Corgi Ultimate Collection, the gun was removed. If you look at some of toys and products that was aimed at children, the gun bit was removed, and that's the very reason why Lego wanted to do a James Bond series, but Eon was reluctant because they didn't want guns to be sort of mixed up in something aimed at a younger audience. So so Eon have always kind of had that ideology as well. So it's not just Amazon. It's nothing to do with the society we now live in. It's always been there. So yeah, so that was a very kind of interesting sort of debate. So in Bond news, there's nothing massive to report, apart from the fact that we do have The Hook and the Eye by Raymond Benson. That has now been released in physical copy, paperback. This came Saturday night. It is the next book I'm going to read, because I'm currently reading Agatha Christie's Mystery on the Blue Train. I'm nearly done that, so once I've done that, I will jump into that. So yes, I'm kind of really looking forward to that, and I have heard a lot more positive reviews on that than on Kim Sherwood's sort of attempt at doing Bond. So yes, so that is out in paperback. Talking of books, we also have a new book coming out soon, which is Edward Biddulph's Bond locations in England, I think. So yeah, that to me I'm looking forward to, because I think it'll be because it covers the locations in the novels as well as the films, and when you think Bond, you think exotic. Well, actually, there's probably more. He probably does spend a lot more time in England than you think. So yes, I mean, I like I like to go abroad, and if I go abroad, I will always take the famous Martin Mulders On the Tracks of 007 red book with me. But also, occasionally, it's just easy to holiday in the UK, down to having two dogs and stuff. Um, and it's just another thing to take with me. So I think, okay, we'll try this and this. Of course, I won't tell Kim at the time until we rock up there, and she's like, "Well, what's all this in aid of?" Well, Bond's been here. Oh, well, of course he has. So yeah, so that's something I'm kind of wanting to get and would recommend. Um, so yes, we've got The Hook in the Eye, Edward Biddulph's English Bond locations. I can't remember the full name of the book, but I'm sure it'll be on Amazon somewhere. So yes, what's been happening? GoldenEye, I would assume and I would believe that the official 30th anniversary celebrations have begun. GoldenEye was released at cinema on the 3rd of October on several cinemas across the world. I never went and seen it. I went to see it back in 2022 at the Odeon. So yeah, that was, and then Shaken and Stirred, they did an event as well for the screening. Talking of Shaken and Stirred, they are holding an event at Pinewood Hotel next weekend. The date's I think it's the 24th of October. Don't quote me, but anyway, it's a 2-day event. So everybody's travelling down on the Friday, meeting there, meeting and greeting, drinks and stuff. Saturday we're going to be in the sort of conference room where we'll be having sort of guest interviews with people who've worked on the Bond films. So this is celebrating 60 years of Thunderball, 40 years of A View to a Kill, 30 years of GoldenEye, 10 years of Spectre. And then in the evening there will be a charity casino, and then on the Sunday we will be all like doing location touring and stuff. So yeah, it's a weekend I'm kind of really looking forward to. I've had it booked back in February. Obviously, with everything that's happened, people have said, "Are you going to be well enough to be there?" Well, yes, I am going to be there, and I am well enough. You'll be totally surprised at how well I look, considering what I've gone through. So yeah, that's something I'm really, really looking forward to. Also, what also has happened is Cue the Music did a massive show at Theatre Royal in Drury Lane, London, the weekend that's just gone, on the 12th of October, I believe. Now, this was kind of all part of David Sarinsky's Gather All, which is something he does once a year, or maybe 2 years, where Bond fans all over the world unite. And David Sarinsky was the compare to the show, and the show also featured 3 actresses who played Miss Moneypenny. So you had Samantha Bond, Caroline Bliss, Naomi Harris. And they also made an announcement that next year Cue the Music will be collaborating with David Arnold, whilst I believe they'll probably be doing the music from Casino Royale, because next year will be 20 years of Casino Royale. So that's something I might be able to go to, I think. Just depends on how things are. So yes, so that was a very well attended event. I never made that because obviously I just down to how things were. I don't know if it would if I'd have made it or not, going to London and stuff. So yeah, that's been and gone, and I believe that was a massive success. So congratulations to Warren, and congratulations to the people who took part in that. And yes, it was a very well turned out event by Bond fans. I've seen pictures and everything, photos on social media, and I absolutely envy them because I wished I was there. But anyway, I've got the Shake and Stir event to look forward to. So yes, in terms of GoldenEye, we have the 30th anniversary. I'm kind of looking on the 007 store, and I think the only thing that's available to buy are this socks from Sock Exchange, which is what I mentioned last time. There's a few designs for the Thunderball, obviously to celebrate Thunderball's 60th. There is now a snow globe, so you can buy a Thunderball snow globe. I believe that they're retail about £100. They are expensive. I believe this could be the 4th snow globe they've done. They've done the Spy Love Me one, which is really cool. They did a Skyfall one, they did a Spectre one, and now they've done the Thunderball one, which is basically Bond kind of underwater. They have also, well, it hasn't been released on the website, but if you go onto Globetrotter have released their Thunderball range of suitcases. Now, Globetrotter have been, I would probably have no doubt have supplied the Daniel Craig Bond with suitcases for definite, but it's probably been only since, to my knowledge, may have been only since No Time to Die when they actually released some sort of No Time to Die sort of collaborated suitcases, followed by the 60th anniversary suitcases. So they did suitcases to celebrate the 60th anniversary, which had like those famous coloured dots. Then they did the Goldfinger range. Now they've done the Thunderball range. They are fucking expensive, £2,000, £3,000. I'm sure there's Bond fans out there who would have probably got every single case. If it's not Bond fan or for Bond collectors, it's certainly for the Globetrotter collectors. But the Thunderball one, even though they're not available to buy on the 007 website, they are on the Globetrotter website themselves, and they are fucking expensive, but they do look cool, but not cool enough for me to spend £3 grand on one. So they are there. As I said, all of our brand will be releasing a new Bond range next month, no doubt to coincide with Thunderball, A View to a Kill, GoldenEye, Spectre. Peel will no doubt do the same. Bollinger, they'll be there. Amiga. Now, Amiga have been a bit quiet, but I will be surprised if they don't do something, because after all, it is 30 years of GoldenEye, but also 30 years for the collaboration between Bond and Amiga. I mean, so far they've given some really cracking Bond models. So what else is it to expect? Bollinger, I believe, have released a new kind of bottle with once again really cool packaging. £45, which isn't bad, isn't breaking the bank. So yeah, in terms of merchandising, it's slowly but surely. I mean, obviously the Thunderball celebrations don't really officially start till the end of December. But saying that, A View to a Kill, that's now 40, and that was released back in June. But yet, that seems to be very quiet. There's no new products or nothing that's connected to that. I mean, of course, we are living and hoping that we may get A View to a Kill and GoldenEye expanded from La La Land. You know, but yeah, in terms of merchandise, there's nothing. There's nothing really from Corgi. Factory Entertainment will be releasing some more stuff next year. So they at their San Diego Comic Con, they had I don't know if you call them examples, but basically they do things and just see how much interest to generate. But they did a prop replica of a mine, proximity mine, that was using GoldenEye. They also had the prop replica of the Thunderball breathing device, which I'm kind of, because I kind of missed that out on the first time. I was wanting to get that, but for some reason I was too busy sort of in the process of meeting my now wife back then, so I think my head was elsewhere, i.e. probably in her cleavage, instead of me thinking about you know, what cool Bond products is there for me to buy. So yeah, I kind of missed out on that, so I'm going to keep my eye out for that. There is the part of the scale replica range. They got the Blofeld Batho tub from Diamonds Are Forever, as well as the Thunderball jetpack and a really miniature attaché case. So yes, I'm kind of sort of intrigued to know what Factory Entertainment will bring out next year. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But yeah, in terms, I mean, Hot Toys, they've gone quiet. I believe that a Daniel Craig one is being pre-ordered, and it's based on him in No Time to Die. You've got the combat suit from the finale of the film, and then you got him in the tuxedo. But as I said, I wasn't the features on his face just weren't quite right. So I'm sort of currently not really prepared to spend that amount of money on that figure, because I just don't. To me, it doesn't look great. So yeah, in terms of merchandise, it's basically what's on the 007 store. So they've also released a few more Christmas decorations. Over the years, they've released a good range, and they are. I mean, I've got 3 or 4 of them, and they are. I mean, they're quite big, and they are actually proper, very very good quality. £22 each. So yeah, they are really good quality. So yeah. So basically, I think that's about it. Quantum of Menace, as I believe, has been released, and this is the first in the Q Mysteries. I believe it's currently available in Goldsboro and Waterstones. They both have done sort of their special edition book. Again, this is something that I'm not going to get because it just does not appeal to me. It's usually if the idea or the concept appeals to me, I think, okay, that'd be interesting. That is just another another carte blanche. It's just the idea just did not grasp me at all, did not intrigue me, so I'm going to say no. However, the second book is due to be published next year. Same with the final one of Kim Sherwood's trilogy, Hurricane Room. That will be published next year. Also, the US artwork has been revealed for that. And it, again, compared to the artwork we've got for the first 2 for the UK, it looks pretty bland, but this is for the US. And it very much reminds me of the early concept poster for Her Majesty's. If you Google it, if you look at it, you'll know exactly what I mean. But yeah, so we've still got the UK artwork to look forward to, and hopefully that should come out trumps, and that should meet, because I mean the artwork for the first 2 I've really liked, as well as the titles. I really like the titles for the first 2. Hurricane Room is just very bland. It just doesn't seem to have that kind of. It's just not really catching me, you know, where the other 2 had really solid, strong titles, original titles. This one, again, I've said it before, it's just a sort of a cheap get out on Hurricane Gold. A bit like Quantum of Menace is a cheap get out from Quantum of Solace. It's just too parody, you know. So yeah, in Bond news, I think that's it. So yeah, with nothing solid worth reporting on Bond 26. We've obviously had, you know, a bit of interesting discussions with the covers that Amazon had released not long ago. GoldenEye 30th anniversary has now begun, and I'm sure throughout the year there will be bits that'll be, you know, merchandise and stuff will be released. There's obviously, you know, Shaken and Stirred event at Pinewood Hotel. I believe the tickets have all sold out. So if you're going to be there, I will be there. Say hello. I'll look forward to meeting you. And yes, I think that's about it. So until next time, might be next week, might be the week after. But if there's something I feel I need to talk about, I'll talk about it. But otherwise, that's it for now. Goodbye.